This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
She is just like full of creativity. Love getting together with her every time we do on this podcast. Get ideas, ways you can enhance your home, your workspace, your living space, and all of that, all coming at the hands of an interior designer. She's our professional of the year. And today we're going to look at the difference between an interior decorator and a interior designer. They are vastly different. There is some crossover, if you will. That's, layman's terms over here. She knows much better than that. Trish, Bonney, back on the program with us. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Really good. Really good. There's a distinction between decorator and designer, right?
Yes. A decorator can help you with, I don't want to say simple, but items like, putting together some pillows and maybe your curtains and drapery and picking out the colors. Whereas your designer, we should be able to take you through the whole process of a remodel or a brand new home even. We should be able to do a lot of your drawings, especially if they're very specific, like tile layouts, flooring layouts, for your furniture plans and whatnot. So there is quite a difference in that. It could be experience. It could be a decorator turns into a designer over time and learning, but it's definitely something that is totally different. Stagers, you can consider them decorators as well because they're decorating all the time. That's their main focus. They're putting together a space. But your designers can put together the space, but we can take you all the way through the construction part as well.
So let's go there. And certainly a difference between a decorator and not minimizing anything. Everybody has their role. A decorator is going to make your living space look a certain way. But when it comes to the actual design of it, or even changing certain architecture or structure, that's where interior designer comes in. Can you take us through that process, Trish? Like, let's say, you suggest a wall be taken out or something pretty substantial be done in an interior space. You're walking that journey as well. It's not like you just say, yeah, I think that wall should come out as long as there's a header up there and we're good to go. And then you walk away from it. No, you're involved in the whole process, right?
Yeah, you should be getting one-to-one service throughout the whole process. If the client wants to take it throughout that whole process, my firm, we do kind of what I call a la carte. We can take it as little or as far as you want. We can do just the decorating, but we can do the entire process. I do feel it's very important if you are doing a construction of any sort, whether it be a new home or even just a remodel, to get with a designer first, because it is best to figure out and have a plan going forward what you exactly want to do. If you have the contractor come in first, they can bid for something. They don't even really know what they're bidding for. They're just throwing out random numbers. They may be pricing per square foot, which a lot of them will do, but that could be extremely inaccurate if you're, like you said, moving walls or changing plumbing, adding gas or moving gas from one end of the house to the other. There's a lot to consider there. So if you talk to your designer first, come up with a plan, then get those bids from your contractors, the people who are doing the actual labor, then they're bidding on exactly what's being done. And you should be picking out all of the products ahead of time as well, because that way, like tile, for example, if they see that it's just a 12 by 24 simple brick layout or something like that, that is simple. If it's a very specific tile, say it's small individual handcrafted tiles that have to be installed one by one, that price point increases dramatically for installation because of the intricacy of the layout. So there's a lot to take into consideration, and meeting with a designer first to figure that all out to see it's even in your budget or your investment point That's important because we can scale things back if need be, or you might get your total dream to come to fruition. But we can also work with the contractors if we have to scale back to do, um, to scale back the cost with them in hopes to still get the look and the aesthetics that you are wanting.
So let's say that in your home, you've always wanted to remove this wall. And let's say you want to make your kitchen an open concept. Maybe you have a separate dining room. We're going to take that out. You see the vision. Others have suggested, hey, imagine you take that wall out. You got all this space and everything. That being said, you could start reaching out to contractors. Okay, contractor, what would it cost to take that out? What would you suggest, et cetera, et cetera? Would you say it's suggested if you're going to do that, and there's other things that you're planning on doing in terms of designing that living space, work with an interior designer because it kind of got you back when it comes to the contractor. I don't know. You guys going to take out a wall. What else do I know with that? Okay, great. Now what? Would it be
Yeah,
better to have somebody, on your side, working with the contractor?
I believe so. I think you should have somebody with expertise to facilitate the whole process. It's not to say that you can't just go, skip over the interior designer and go straight to the contractor. But with that being said, when you are hiring them a la carte, keep in mind there's extreme change orders. Every time you change something, or if you're just doing it in the moment, you bring them in, you tell them you want a kitchen remodel. I think I want to take this wall down. When they originally bid it, they might not put that in there. They might not take into account for a special kind of tile or a wood floor versus a tile floor. Do you want
Mm,
radiant heating? Um, what kind of plumbing fixtures do you want? Do you want true brass plumbing fixtures? Because if you do, I would educate you on what can happen with real brass versus if you just went with like aluminum or steel or something like that. There's a huge difference there. Or
mm.
copper, if you want something that has copper in it. Will a contractor educate you on that? Some of them can and some of them will. I would say the majority of them, as long as they're getting paid, they're just putting the stuff in and they're not going to take you through why you should or why you shouldn't do certain things and, what's the best functionality that I can get for you with the best look. They also might not have all of the resources that we do.
Mm.
One thing for that is very, very important to me and my team is we go to markets. We go to markets all the time, and people might see that as, oh, she just likes to travel. No, I go to the same place every year. But it's to see what is out there, what's the new, the latest and greatest, what the trends are. But it's also, you know, it's inspiration. When you walk into like a lighting showroom, for example, if you see a new light fixture, what's so great about it? How many lumens is it giving out? I can get all of the information about it so I can refer you to that when you come to us. And the more we stay on top of the things, the better it is for you. You don't have to spend your time on the internet Googling or going on Pinterest over and over again. Take that time to spend with your family. Let us do our job from all of our education when we do these travels.
Yep. See, you're going to be wanting a certain look after that wall comes down.
Mhm.
So I feel that you should just work with somebody along the way. Depending on areas and everything like that, you can actually make suggestions of contractors that you vet out. Um, but let's say somebody is uh, planning or thinking about doing something, and we've said before you can work with them virtually. When it comes to a contractor, let's say, unlike you're located in Denver,
Mhm.
let's say somebody's in New York and you might not know the contractors or have one, on speed dial in New York, but you can vet them out, ask the right questions based on what the project is, right?
I can do that, but I can also again, utilize my resources. I am a part of the Interior Design Society, the American Society of Interior Designers, the National Kitchen and Bath Association. So let's say you personally are doing a kitchen remodel. I might reach out to designers in NKBA or the National Kitchen and Bath Association and say, hey, who do you recommend in your area? Because the other thing is, I have all those designers that I can reach out to. I also I do judge a lot of interior design contests that are nationwide. So I see a lot of the
Mm.
contractors who are building these things.
Mm.
Sometimes I do judge builder awards as well. So again, there's my resources. I'm not just stuck in Denver area. I have resources outside, and that's why I am a part of those networking groups, not just for, you know, giggles. It is for purposes. When I do outside of Colorado, um, jobs for people, I do have the ability to reach out and say, who do you recommend? Give me your top three. As long as I'm not overstepping them, I'm not taking away from their needs, then I can get really good resources because at the end of the day, we're all trying to help one another. It is our name on it if we are referring you to somebody, and I don't want to refer you to just anybody. But I can definitely, if you have, like, say you had two that you were deciding to work with, I can 100% sit down, do a Zoom with you and ask those questions that I think are really necessary.
Mm.
I would also do, if required, like I had a client in New Hampshire we did a kitchen remodel for. I got on a weekly call with her, the contractor, her spouse, everybody involved. We sat on the weekly call and went over everything, made sure everybody was on the same page. Sometimes I was talking most of the time, sometimes I wasn't talking at all. So it's whatever the client needs. Doesn't matter where you are now in 2020. We're about to go into 26. It's really easy to be able to do something like that.
So those are crystal clear reasons why you should work with an interior designer. How about some other ones? Maybe things that we might not even notice.
Well, especially your kitchens, for example, that's where there's a lot of codes. And there's a lot of reasons for those codes that some might not understand. It's not to say you can't Google everything, but at the same time, if somebody doesn't understand the reason behind it, they might not follow it. For example, I did follow behind a designer. It was quite a few years ago. Well, she wasn't a designer, she was a decorator. Um, she is no longer able to work in the state of Colorado or call herself a designer or in the construction industry because the kitchen ended up starting a fire, and the reasons were due to codes. But there were also simple things like there is a toe kick that goes up to your cabinetry where you step up to it. It is there for a very specific reason. It's so your feet don't jam into it, and so you can step up and work closely to perform your tasks in the kitchen. She decided that toe kicks were ugly and useless and convinced the contractor, who just all he cared about was getting the job done, listened to her, didn't put the toe kicks in. Like that is a very simple, silly code, but it's a code. Um,
I
Having
didn't
your
even know it was
appliances,
code. I had no
yeah.
idea that that's can.
Well, and it's
That to me that's just
common sense.
common sense, but also we take it for granted. We don't even
Yeah.
think about it. We walk up, your feet go underneath the cabinet, and you're closer to the work area.
Yes.
I don't realize that until you said, I'm like, yeah, I have that at home. Yeah. And how do I know it? Because when I vacuum and then mop in the kitchen, I'm going underneath it.
To
And
go under it.
it's almost like the black hole, the abyss. I can't see in there. So there's cat hair coming out. like,
Yeah. But
but that's how I'm aware.
there's places of where to put your appliances. And even some, it's not a code. There's National Kitchen and Bath Association strongly suggests things like don't put your refrigerator and your double oven smack dab next to each other. You should at least have 4 to 6 inches in between. And it could be two panels that go in between with air because the heat from the ovens will force your refrigerator to work harder, which will void your warranty. So things like that, that's not a code, but it is
Mm.
something that we learn about that you want to look out for your client because if they spend like $8,000 or up to $20,000 for a refrigerator and thousands more for the double ovens, and they stop working within a year or two, they'd probably be very thankful if they can get a lot longer life out of them and realize they got a longer life out of them because you, the designer, knew better on where to position those items. Um,
Mm. Wow.
Same with your hood vent. There's a certain distance above the ovens. There's a certain distance of space. That was another thing in that kitchen. She only put 32 inches from one set of cabinetry to the other, whereas there is a code, it's 36 inches. That is not just a general code, it's also an ADA code. You have to have at least 36 inches for like a wheelchair to pass through. But it's also the reason why that was so evident right away. The um, the dishwasher and the oven were right behind one another, and you could only open one at a time because otherwise they just slammed into each other. So that's another thing. You need to know where to put those appliances. Um, a really good kitchen designer should tell you to pick out your appliances first before we start your design because I could waste a bunch of time, which essentially is your money, designing a kitchen, and you pick out an extra wide refrigerator, which is those exist all over the place now, or extra wide cooktop, or you do a cooktop versus a range, double ovens versus a range. Again, we just had a client that we met with last week to go measure their house. They want two dishwashers. I have to really take that into consideration when I'm doing the layout,
Mm.
because that's also plumbing. If you're working with a contractor and you tell them, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, you ordered the cabinetry, but I want two dishwashers now. So figure out what you're doing first, work with a professional. Yes, we are called a luxury, but at the same time, we should be saving you money. We have 100% should be saving you time. And we are offering our resources. There's a plethora of reasons, but like those are huge. You can spend more time with your family. We're just doing our regular job. You do your regular job too. So we are spending way less time because we know where to go a lot quicker.
Mm. I said it at the beginning of this podcast series after attempting to do my backyard without a designer. And it was a pretty major thing that gave myself an ulcer, like legit in the hospital. And of course, I was waking up early for some jobs. Kids were smaller. This is only, let's say 10 years ago, not even 10 years, 9 years ago. Um, I'll never do it again because you think that, I got that. I got that managing that. And yeah, I was doing some of the work, trenching out wires and things like that, which I enjoy. But managing all the trades coming in, I don't know what I was doing. I figured, they'll watch my back. Well, that one's not watching that one. Then there's issues and
Right.
everything. I feel that when you hire somebody like yourself, you've got, I know somebody in the biz, if you will. So you're going to be flying above the bleachers and keeping tabs on everything where the rest of us, we're not even looking at that.
Yeah.
Most of these things you mentioned, I wouldn't even think about them. I'm intrigued about the double dishwasher. Where would that go? Would they go side by side? How would that work?
Well, we have to look at the space that we have. So
Sure.
you can either go side by side, you can have one on each side of the sink. It may be where it's a kosher kitchen. So you have one in one side and one in the other. It
Hmm.
really varies. It differs from client to client.
If you have the space, double dishwashers, does it really come down to your personal preference where the homeowner wants it?
Yes and no. I mean, ideally you want to put it where it's accessible to plumbing already.
Mm.
It's a remodel and we all have our investment points into stay within an investment point so you can splurge somewhere else.
Yeah.
You want it where plumbing already exists and lives.
Mm,
If it's a brand new home, the world is your oyster, but a
right.
remodel that is different. So for this particular client, it's gonna be about how it can go in the space to best fit their investment point.
Got it. It seems, unless there's other things going on there within that kitchen, reasonable, it probably would be on the same wall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll probably surround one on each side of the sink or
Mm,
both on one side so we can maintain that position of where the plumbing is at.
gotcha. Um, Anything else we're missing here when it comes to why to hire an interior designer?
I mean, of course, we are going to want to have the best aesthetics. I mean, at the end of the day, we all want to show off the designers. We want to show off our designs and really showcase what we can do. That's our marketing. But it's also keep in mind that most designers, their priority should be making it specifically for each individual client. There are designers who feel more comfortable staying in a niche. And then there's designers that are willing to, again, the world is your oyster. What do you want? What inspires you? What do you love? And that's where you can really make special spaces for a client. That is always my first priority. I want to make it for you, but at the same time, I'm going to make sure that it functions properly and is to code and all of those things. But I want to make sure it's somewhere you want to return to immediately every day. If you work outside of the home, I want you to run home because you love it. I want you to love showing it off, and really enjoy it. But if it's just, rinse and repeat, same project over and over or very similar, it's not really a challenge in my eyes. That is where, again, if you feel comfortable doing that, then and you find those clients that want that similar aesthetic, that's great. But my challenge for myself is to find a different client every single time. I don't I don't like to be bored myself. So
Mm,
I like
mm.
when people want a really something really unique.
It's I gotta imagine too that you are the problem solver. So let's say I just hired a contractor. I want to take that wall down. It's all good, whatever. Oh, didn't realize there was an issue after the wall came down. Now what do I
Yeah.
do? The
Yeah.
contractor can give you their best advice in terms of what they do, but short of closing the wall up, yeah, we may have to reconfigure things. And then that's where you would come in. Contractor, not taking anything away, but they're limited in terms of the design. It's more of this is what I want done. Can you do it? Uh, yeah, and they go a little bit deeper than that, but every contractor is different. Where an interior designer is going to see the big vision. That's what I see here, the big vision.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a really good example. We came in late on a project after an architect had already done their drawings and the drawings were off a lot. So,
Oops.
but the cabinetry for some reason had already been ordered. So that's where you have to work with that contractor and be like, hey, your measurements were way off. We already have this cabinetry. What can we do to fix the situation? Because cabinetry is expensive. You can't just return it either, especially if it's custom. So you become a team. You become a
Mm,
team with the contractor, trying to leave the client out of it because we don't want to stress them out any more than they already are. And when you say to them, hey, your cabinets don't work, we've got to fix this. Yes, you're going to have to eventually let them know if you need to get new cabinetry or add on cabinetry or get rid of something. You're going to have to let them know, but maybe figure out your options first, then go to the client afterwards. So it's not as stressful, like I said, and it just, you've come up with a solution for them. Like you said, we're problem solvers. So we do have to work intimately with the contractors as well, especially in specific needs like that.
Well, as I learned from you in the past, even if the measurements are perfect, the walls aren't. They're always going to be off. And I never realized how much they really are off, especially in the kitchen where
Yeah.
that makes a big difference when the cabinets are already cut and on their way. How do we connect with you, Trish? Again, you can work with people anywhere virtually on many different levels. What's the starting point?
If you go on to Google and just type in tab interior designs, sorry, and that's Tango Alpha Bravo interior designs.com.
As simple as that.
Simple as that. And you'll find our Instagram, our website, Facebook,
Mm.
all of the social media
Yep.
formats.
Fantastic. Even just go to the website and look at some of the projects. Just, amazing. Love your work. Always love talking with you. You always have the answers because that's what you do. It's like,
Not always. If I don't have them, I will definitely find out for you.
yeah, well, you also have an arsenal of professionals backing you as well. And that's one of the other reasons why to hire an interior designer. Trish, thank you so much. Happy New Year. And we'll talk in 26.
All right. Thank you.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.